Hello, and welcome to the show where you're not part of the problem, I am. I'm the source of all of the problems. I'm the reason that this episode wasn't recorded last week instead of today. I believe I committed on screen to one video every week, and I have not done that now. I've done I've pretty much done one every week, but this last week I didn't get to it. So sorry about that. But anyway, hi, hello, welcome back. Just like last week, I also don't have a topic today. I'm just kind of like talking about stuff. I'm nearly graduated now, which is interesting. Um, I should clarify. I'm nearly graduated from university. So I have spent the last 5 years of my life studying for a communications degree at a university, specifically studying public relations. That's like the sub-discipline within communications more broadly. And this is my final semester, and about an hour ago, I handed in my final assignment. And in 2 days, I will have my final exam. So, Tuesday night, I will be done. Completely done. No more no more assignments, no more tests, no more classes. I will be done with all of my education forever, basically, which is a big step. Needless to say, it's a very big step. I've never had as big a transitions in my life as I am right now, or as I'm about to have. Because, I mean, when you really think about it, I've been doing classes for what, 2 decades? Pretty much. I mean, some of my earliest memories were being in classes, learning how to count. Pre-K was a class. And even going from high school to university, I mean, sure, it was different, but it was still from one set of classes to another. So this transition, I mean, this is going to be probably the last time I ever take any academic courses, so I don't even know what to think, to be honest. And I've been thinking a lot recently about this transition and how odd it is, how significant it is, and I think what I've kind of been expecting from myself is that this would feel like something big and major and, well, maybe something worthy to grieve, to really think about and think through, and overall it's felt like it would be a very sad transition. But I love roommates. My roommates are great. I could never complain about them. They're all studying right now because they have like way more stuff to get done. Um, I have nothing else to get done today. I'm just resting for the rest of the day because I got the big assignment done. And tomorrow is plenty of time to study, just plenty, of course. Uh, it'll be fine. Yeah, it it's felt like it should be a very sad thing, but well, what I've been kind of grappling with recently is that it doesn't really feel sad. At least not completely. It's not just sadness. In fact, it's mostly not sadness. It's contentment, I think. So, the way that these last few weeks have been oriented, and this is kind of how it tends to go with the classes like this, is you've got your big assignments, your big last things that you have to get done, and then once those are done, your assignment is over. So for one class, it was a big research paper. For another class, it was an essay. For another class, it's a test. And for the last class, it's a big creative project, a fiction writing project to be precise. They all have these big projects, so you kind of know if you're finished if you've handed in the big project. And felt like a very, I don't know how to put this, but maybe a very natural progression. Because I had one project, one final project, which is the easiest, and that's the one I did first. Got it done real quickly. I had another project, which was the essay it was a little more difficult, and I had to put a lot of work into it, and also it was worth like 40% of my mark, which I didn't really maybe give all the thought it deserved, but I got it done, and it was a lot of work, a lot of writing, but it was moderately difficult. It wasn't crazy. And then I looked at this research paper. It's technically clarified as a capstone project in a sense, because it's in my capstone course, which isn't like a capstone course with a capstone project in the traditional sense, where it's like, you do it over multiple semesters and it's this big thing. But it was still the big final course to graduate public relations, and this project was meant to be a very, very big project. We had 2 or 3 smaller projects due as part of this bigger project. So it's a big deal. And I had to spend a good 4 days working on it. 4 days. Just work the whole day, basically. Not a crazy amount of work. Like, there's some projects where it's like, okay, I have so much work to get done, I have to work every moment that I'm awake today. It wasn't like that. It was a very healthy amount where I could like be more leisurely in the first half of the day, and then like really sit down and focus for the rest, and get done a good amount, and that would set me up so that I could get the rest done in a good amount of time. But I think that's part of what made it so interesting, because it's a big project, it's a tough project, and it's a project that is similar to what I've done before, but in many ways it's also harder than those other projects. So it's like felt like the perfect project to take a lot of the skills that I'd been working on and developing throughout my academic career, and apply them to something, but still grow as a result. So in many ways it felt like a very appropriate challenge, and it was. I mean, I feel like this project, it's the one I handed in today, about an hour ago. This research paper, it it felt like it tested like pretty much everything I've been working towards throughout everything. How do you format a paper? How do you cite your sources correctly? How do you build an argument based on sources, and how do you tie it together and use good research methods, and how do you pace yourself so you're getting it all done, but you're not disorganized, you're not like rushing it, you're getting it done, and you're going through and doing it with quality. Every like little box you could tick to really like hit all the big things I've had to work on and develop as skills through the whole semester, it feels like it hit like pretty much all of it. And so I think this project, with the context of the other projects, being there as well, this project feels like the culmination, and really just a good finale to my academic career. And I think that's why I haven't felt sadness, is it all feels appropriate. It all feels fitting. I have this project, and it feels like it's testing everything it should test. And I went and I worked on it, and I completed it the way I should have completed it. And I got it done. It was tough. It was challenging. It was satisfying. So I can't really feel sad, because I'm just like, oh yeah, I'm satisfied. I did it. I did it. You gave me a final challenge to test that I have what it takes to graduate, and I completed that challenge. Some of my favorite video games are the ones that feel like they bring everything together. You know, I there are lots of video games which I play it and I love it. There's some that overstay their welcome, you know. They they don't introduce enough like interesting stuff to keep you going, enough novelty. There's some that I think go too fast and it feels like there could have been more there. But the best ones are the ones where they introduce all these different elements and then at the end it's like, okay, now we'll test you on everything you learned. And that's exactly what this was. And when I play those kinds of games, I feel satisfied. Like, okay, I saw all there is to see. I accomplished the biggest challenges, and now that's it. I can move on. So I think if you asked me again in a few months, like, oh, are you sad that you're graduating? I think I'll say, yeah, a little bit. I am sad, but I think for the most part, I'll also say, not really. I did it. I'm satisfied. I can move on. So yeah, that's um that's what I've been thinking about recently, I guess, just how interesting it is to be graduating and moving on to a new era. And there's a lot to be excited for in this new era. I don't think it's going to be a bad thing. I think it's going to be a really, really cool thing. I think I'm going to be learning a lot and testing things, different things than school might test, but important things and useful things nonetheless. I think I'll be growing a lot. I think I'll be trying a ton of stuff. I mean, really, it's to me, it's exciting because I'm going to be free. I'm going to be free to do whatever I want. Already I was just sitting in bed thinking like, huh. So there are these things that I really enjoyed about university, and they're going to be gone like once I'm graduated. My natural instinct is to keep those going just by initiating things like that in the future. Like, an example might be like, okay, I really enjoyed that I could meet new people and hang out with people in university settings. You know, I kind of like that casual hangout and that social social. Excuse me. I'm hiccuping and or yawning. I really like that social aspect of university. My instinct is like, okay, once I graduate, I'm just gonna start asking more people to hang out. You know, it feels like I can keep things going and I can keep what I liked about it alive in some sense. You know, um, so it's I think it's gonna be really cool seeing how things go once I'm finally free from the shackles that I've had for like 2 decades or something. Honestly, I'm like that's one of the biggest things I'm excited for. Just having that wide open feeling of like I could go any direction now. That's really cool. And there are obstacles, but I can overcome them. I beat university. I can beat the next challenge. Try me. Come on. Come on. Bring it on. Ah, anyway, yeah. There's more I could talk about, but I feel like it would become more clear just how much I'm ranting if I did try to talk more. So I'll just leave it at that. I feel like that's a cool thought. And you know, you're probably a young adult or somewhere in that range, I would guess, just based on who I feel like would get this far in a video. Um, I like to have something to tell people. Like here's the application of whatever I've talked about, and you know maybe there's not a strong application for this one, but maybe it's hold on, you know, hold on and keep on going. Because like university can be challenging, other things can be challenging. You can be shackled by things for a long time, but just push through and you'll get through it. I can't say that 5 years ago when I started university I really thought like had any idea how things would look 5 years later when I'd graduate. I couldn't have predicted anything about how my life looks now. Well, maybe I could have. It's not like that crazy, but it's it's I think it's important to, as much as it's important to look towards the future and make plans and all that, it's also important just not to get held up by that and just to take it one step at a time. My classes, I had a lot of tough classes. I had a lot of tough semesters. I had a lot of classes that were boring as well, just not interesting things that I look back and I'm like, okay, I don't know how I got through that. It was just not at all something I cared about, but I got a good grade on it, apparently. And I also look back and it's like, wow, there's so many courses, like upwards of 40, I think. And it was a lot of work, but I got her done. I got her done. So if you just keep on pushing forward, you can get it done too. It doesn't mean that by trying extra hard you'll get it done any faster. You probably won't. You can't rush things, but just truck ahead, going at a good but not like crazy pace. Just going at a solid pace. Just head forward, and you'll get through. You'll get through, and you'll graduate, and you'll look back and be like, wow, how'd that happen? So, yeah. Anyway, that's all I've got to say. I've talked for a long time. And I hope you have a wonderful week. I hope that if you're doing assignments, doing your finals, you're doing well on those. Hopefully listening to me talk has helped you in some sense get through it. But otherwise, wherever you are, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Thanks for showing interest in my thoughts, and have a wonderful life. Goodbye.